British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has narrowly survived a no-confidence vote brought by members of his own party. They claimed his leadership had failed after a series of scandals. Johnson got a majority of the party's lawmakers to support him, but his long-term future is still undecided. Ramy Inocencio is outside the Prime Minister's house in London with more.
Yes, good morning there, Anne-Marie and Vlad. Today we are picking up the pieces to see how the mood is. And basically what we're seeing is that Prime Minister Boris Johnson is defiant. This came out even in the initial minutes after the results came out last night. He was also quite combative in the interview that he did. And in addition, if you were looking for any sense of humility after the fact that nearly 40% of his own party members voted against him, you also did not see that. I would say that, there's a phrase of the stiff upper lip. If there was any concern about Johnson's future, he definitely wasn't showing it.
The vote in favour of having confidence in Boris Johnson as leader was 211 votes, and the vote against was 148 votes.
With nearly 60% of his own party members supporting him, a defiant prime minister took to the airwaves.
I think it's a convincing result, a decisive result, and what it means is that as a government we can move on.
Moving on, he says, means new tax cuts for the masses and fighting the highest inflation in 40 years. But with more than 40% of his lawmakers now clearly against him, being moved out from power must be on his mind. The Prime Minister now leads a clearly divided Conservative Party, broken over illegal social gatherings at work, as seen in these leaked photos, while the nation was locked down at home in the height of COVID. After breaking his own law, he was publicly jeered last weekend during the Queen's 70th Platinum Jubilee.
He said, I haven't done anything wrong, and he's been proved that he has. He should go.
But Johnson backers, like Conservative Member of Parliament Shailesh Vara, says the country should move on.
Theresa May, Margaret Thatcher both won their votes of no confidence, and yet afterwards they resigned. You think that could happen here?
Boris Johnson is a winner. He has come back from very low positions in the past.
And looking ahead, it very well may be that Prime Minister Boris Johnson's days may be numbered, but his allies are saying he might be wounded, but a win is a win.
I guess, Ramy. And I know he's trying to characterize it as like sort of a decisive win for him right there. And he sort of went on to say, now we can put all this Partygate stuff behind us, right? Draw a line and we're moving forward from here. But, there are awful lot of members of his own party who are not happy with his performance. So what is the mood like in number 10 today, number 10 Downing?
Yeah, sure. Well, it's no surprise that Boris Johnson would want to say, let's move on and to get away from this. If your house was burning and you could run away as far as possible, you probably would. And that's sort of like what was happening here. It was the biggest threat to his premiership ever since he became prime minister back in 2019. But defiance definitely was the word that came out when we were watching the initial reaction, that interview last night, just a few minutes after the results came out. He was not humble at all. He was even, in fact, combative at times with the interviewee there. I mentioned the stiff upper lip earlier today. Even if there were some fears, some concerns about his future, it is very Boris Johnson to put his best face forward and to say, nothing to see here, let's move on. He has been already pushing tax breaks for the masses and talking about how to tackle inflation, which is now at a 40-year high.
And there are two special elections, Ramy, as you know, scheduled later this month. How are Conservatives expected to fare? And could those elections provide an opening for Johnson's opponents?
Sure. They're not just expected to be bad. They're expected to be catastrophes, basically, if you look at the media covering both of those special elections. One in the north, well, both held by Tory members right now, Conservative Party members allied to Boris Johnson. But the one in the north is expected to go to Labour. It had flipped to Boris Johnson back in 2019 when he won in a landslide. But the member of Parliament who stepped down because of a sex scandal, he is expected to be widely replaced by Labour, reclaiming that seat after they had it for the past 90 years. And down in the southwest of the country, the seat there, also held by Conservative, is expected to go to not the Labour Party member, but the Liberal Dem Party member, the Liberal Democrat Party member there. And it looks like, at least there's the idea that Labour and Liberal Dems are trying to coordinate their strategy so that it's anything but a Conservative win in that section. So looking ahead to June 23, that's when the elections are going to be, it could be another nail in the coffin for Boris Johnson and his ability, or rather inability, to try to carry seats as he walks as a wounded premier.
I was wondering what metaphor Ramy would use to describe. I was thinking more sort of crystal ball, looking into the future, an indication of what the future may bring. But you know, walking wounded, if you will,
walking
works well
wounded's pretty
too.
good. That's pretty good.
Ramy, thank you very much.